Yo, what's good guys? Hope you're all doing well. Today we have what might be my last game in the helicopters for quite a while. To make it count, my mate Trigger and I decided to have a bit of a kill race during this game. Obviously it's not 100% fair as I do have the spinny blade machine and he just has a rifle, but he is one of the best infantry players and can definitely make it close. Just before that though, a message from today's sponsor. So if you've never heard of Mech Arena, it's this awesome PvP shooter for mobile and PC, where giant mechs blow each other up in huge arenas. It's one of the best mobile FPS experiences out there, and it's a game that's getting constant attention from the devs. There's always something cool going on, and right now is no exception. Backing up the Brazil hype, Mech is adding 2 pilots based on Neymar Jr. The first one's called Neymar Jr., and it's available free right now. You just have to play 7 days between now and December the 18th. The other pilot is the MVP Neymar Jr., and he's also free. To get him, you'll have to play the Derby event that's happening right now. Anyways, both these pilots are way stronger than any other mech in the game. They give you more damage boost and speed up your mechs, which no other pilot can do. So to summarize, we've got the 2 best pilots in the game, and neither are that hard to get. Just play on 7 different days between now and the 18th to get the regular Neymar Jr., or play the Derby event and get the MVP Neymar. And if that's not enough, install Mech Arena on mobile and PC using my personal link or this QR code. You get a free starter pack worth $15, an amateur crate, 300 A coins, and a pulse cannon 4 to help kickstart your game. And if you're quick, you can add me to your friends list and we can play some matches together on mobile or PC. Alright, so as I said in the intro of this video, I'm going to be trying to get as many kills as I can during this game. Trying to beat my friend Trigger. He is really good at infantry and it's going to be pretty hard to push for that many kills. But anyways, we are in the Little Bird today, and this isn't a live commentary or anything, but I do kind of want to just talk about the state of the helicopters right now and what is probably going to end up happening in this game. As far as Battlefield goes, I really like playing infantry for sure. Infantry is really good fun, but I also need something else. I mean, I wouldn't be able to just stick with Battlefield only if it was just infantry combat. I would definitely still play it, but it wouldn't be my main game. It's the huge diversity of this game that really keeps me hooked. And in this game, it's actually done a pretty good job of keeping things diverse. I mean, at the start of the game, I got a lot of fun out of the Nightbird and the jets, and then eventually the stealth heli came out, and that was a really good time. Got to use different weapons, master the tow missile, master the HMGs, and then finally back to the Nightbird, we had this really accurate meta with the miniguns. And that's been really fun. All those vehicle kind of metas have been enjoyable in their own way. And despite the game not being quite as skilled as Battlefield 4, I've still found ways to have a lot of fun with it. And infantry has also been kind of similar. We've had different weapon metas throughout the game, and you've pretty much been able to get away with using whatever weapon you like. And unfortunately, I just feel like with this new update coming, this escalation or whatever you call it, Season 3, well, I think that this update is actually going to throw out a lot of the balance that DICE has put into the game, because they are continuing a trend that I've noticed since Season 1, and that is that DICE seems to be really obsessed with adding all-in-ones into the game. And this might not make sense, but if you think about everything they've added a lot of all-in-one weapons or vehicles. We'll start out with the stealth heli. I mean, that is an all-in-one aircraft. There is nothing it does badly. Especially at release, that thing would farm infantry with the 30 mils, it would kill aircraft with the 30 mils or the heat seekers, it would kill tanks with the bombs or the laser guideds or the tows, and it had a stealth mode, which is just a whole new utility which makes it, the best heli in the game regardless. This thing was a true all-in-one vehicle, and especially at release and after the first nerf, it was by far the best in the game. Then with the BSVM, that was an all-in-one weapon that had no downsides. It was the best long range, it was the best mid-range, and even up close you could put SMG rounds in it, and it would be pretty much one of the best close range options. Then coming to Season 2, we had the ELBC Ram, which is an all-in-one tank. It has AA capabilities with a flak pod and heat seekers, it has anti-tank capabilities with a tank cannon, and it's really mobile and comes with a bit of utility in the APS. Notice a pattern here. I mean, literally every single thing they add is pretty much just completing all roles without any need of compromise. And with Season 3, it looks like they're continuing this. I'm not sure about the railgun tank, but it does look really good. But my main point of emphasis in this video is going to be the railgun that they're adding. This is a true all-in-one weapon, and it might be the most overpowered weapon that's ever going to come to Battlefield. This gun's called the Rorsch Mark IV. I'm going to make a video on it as soon as I can get my hands on it, but for now, I'm just going to tell you guys about the overall overarching issue. But it is a one-shot headshot, two-shot body shot DMR that does damage to vehicles as well, and the damage is no joke. Like, one player can kill a helicopter with this thing by the looks of it, and this is a 64 player per team, 128 player game. 64 players with these things, nothing is going to be flying and nothing is going to be driving as long as the team has their, their head screwed on correctly. It's going to be absolutely broken. And perhaps one of the most broken things about it that makes it, in my opinion, probably the most overpowered weapon ever added to a Battlefield game is the fact that it's hit scan. It might not be, true hit scan as in like Counter-Strike or those kind of games, but the velocity, if it is a projectile, is so high that you don't actually have to lead it at all. You just put your crosshair wherever they are, and it's going to hit. That has never been a thing in Battlefield games. They had a railgun that was kind of like that in Battlefield 4, but that was a pickup weapon. We're talking about a pickup weapon, or even better than the BF4 railgun, that you can equip to your soldier and just use anytime you want. And if you get caught out in close range, don't worry, it's an all-in-one weapon. They've actually let you, run it in full auto as well. There is seriously no downside to this thing. I just can't believe that they're adding it to the game. A lot of the streamers that I watch and, creators that I'm around are saying that, it's going to ruin the game. Some of them have even said that they might quit the game if it just ruins it too much. And I just can't understand why DICE would add something like this to the game, especially when they're going to be trying to attract all these new players. I mean, if new players are getting headshot across the map by this railgun, it's going to be absolutely insane. I mean, I don't see anyone that would enjoy getting destroyed by this thing. And now let's say that a new player wants to fly a helicopter. In Battlefield, helicopters are one of the more unique things about the game. Everyone loves to, hop in the helis, and in this game, they were pretty much more accessible than ever. You could definitely get into them. Now, how is anyone going to make it work? I mean, if the enemy team has, a few stream snipers or people just targeting me, I really, really struggle in the helis in this game. Like, it is super hard. Now, I don't think I'll have a chance. I don't think I'll have a chance, and if I don't, then I don't really like the odds for someone just getting used to the controls and just flying for the first time. Just as simple as that. The only thing I can think of that would actually be a good reason for them adding this is because it kind of levels out the battlefield. You don't really have to have skill in leading your weapon anymore. You don't really have to hit many shots. You don't have to use an air vehicle to counter anything. Well, you don't have to use a ground vehicle to counter anything either. You can just use an infantry rifle. So it kind of just levels everyone to using the same thing. And there is no real gear advantage or... There used to be an advantage in Battlefield, a very big advantage, to being a player that could play all sorts of roles and vehicles and infantry styles. You could pretty much just adapt to what you had to do to win the game. In this game now, all you're going to have to do is just use that railgun and you'll be absolutely set. That's all you need to do to win the game. Anyways, at the end of the day, what can you really do? They're going to add this thing to the game and it is going to be used. So I guess my only suggestion is use the railgun, abuse the railgun, and just have fun with it while it lasts. I'm sure it's going to be a really fun weapon to use, and I actually can't wait to use it myself, but god damn, it is a silly weapon to add to the game. I remember when I first saw Liz, and I was like, this is so stupid. How could they give infantry TV missiles? 64 TVs, like, I just couldn't believe it. And somehow they've left Liz pretty much in an unnerfed state, and I think the railgun is just taking it one step further. I mean, the fact you can use Liz with a railgun is a whole different discussion, but hopefully they just do the right thing. They nerf it quickly, let us have our fun, but don't let it get too stale. Anyways, continuing with the whole, like, air vehicle conversation I want to have with this video, there are a lot of things that just plague the air vehicles in this game, and one of them is stealth changes. Stealth changes have always been a part of Battlefield. Every update, you kind of have to just play it and try to feel out what's changed. It can be hard, but it can also be really easy sometimes to tell. And one of the big stealth changes that's happened throughout the game is the miniguns. The miniguns have actually been changed, whether it's accidental or not. And after they got massively buffed, they felt really, really good. But looking at them now and playing with them now, it is very clear that some hidden changes have happened to the miniguns. And this is something that pretty much every good heli player agrees on. Not only this, but I remember a tweet from Alan Kurtz, who is an ex-gameplay designer or something at DICE. And he said that stealth changes 100% do happen. He confirmed it right there. Not only this, but he said that sometimes they would add like fake patch notes just to throw people off and mess with people, which just sounds like an absolute joke, but knowing these bozos at DICE, I don't doubt this happened at all. So other than this, there have been other stealth changes that have happened with the helicopters, and one of them is to do with what people call the ground magnet, and that is basically whenever you fly the Little Bird specifically, no other heli, but the Little Bird, towards the ground, it kind of gets sucked towards the ground and it can easily flip over and you basically just lose your heli. Now, this has been sneakily removed from the game entirely, but then it got re-added back to it, and it has been in the game ever since. I believe it is a bug. If it is not a bug, it's one of the most stupid physics kind of interactions I've ever seen in the game. But either way, you know, they have to just be honest about these things. If they made a mistake adding it back, you know, say it is in the game now, but we're going to work on getting rid of it. If you're going to change their miniguns because, I mean, I'll admit, they may have been way too strong when they initially buffed them, just say it. But it would be much nicer to have real, like, in-writing patch notes, rather than just going insane trying to guess what they did change and what they didn't change. And to go even further than this, there are other things which they just haven't really fixed that have been plaguing helis for months and months and months now. An example of this is the transport helicopters. They have been by far the strongest air vehicles in the game ever since the game came out, and they just haven't been properly nerfed yet. I think people on my stream have seen it before, but basically all you need to counter anyone in a helicopter is a hind with a repairman and a gunner. You can have more gunners, but one gunner, one repairman, and a pilot, and that will do the trick. And there is absolutely nothing you can do. They just have such massive health bars. You're really going to be hard pressed to take them out. Now, especially when you consider that the Hind is much better than the Condor, if you get placed on the US team against some good players, there is really nothing you can do. Anyways, I guess I could ramble on and on. There are more things that plague the air vehicles, but my overall point is they are adding some insane air vehicle counters while not even addressing just the basic bugs and quality of life issues that we do face by flying in this game. I do think that, you know, the Nightbird does need some nerfs, but they have to be in the right spots, and DICE historically just hasn't done this correctly, and if they do that, they always just do it behind our backs. We never get patch notes about it. You have to play and test things and actually figure it out. Sure, the heli is absolutely busted against a lobby of players that don't know what they're doing. I mean, look at this handless lobby I'm playing in right now. No one is really countering me. The enemy Nightbird is probably one of the few players who's actually actively trying to do it. And I just have to win a 1v1 and then I get to farm, right? It is just absolutely free farming if you're in the right server. But if you're in the wrong server, trust me when I say this, there is absolutely nothing you can do. And they are adding the biggest counter that we've seen yet in the railgun. And I think that's just going to be a nail in the coffin. I think flying is pretty much done now. But does that mean that it's the end of the content on this channel and I won't be able to have fun anymore? Nah, no way. So firstly, I think we're going to have some really good content just trying to fly against all these new counters and railguns and stuff. It's going to be an insane challenge, and we might even just do some challenges around that kind of stuff. I think it's going to be pretty fun just to try. But the railgun as well. I think we're going to have some goofy railgun content coming soon, so definitely subscribe to that. Just the direction of some of these updates does remind me of Battlefield 4. The kind of videos we made with just a squad of blokes just doing funny things in the game. I do think that this update is going to bring a bit more of that back to the game. So there is always positives, you know, you can always find something fun to do in Battlefield games. And while tryharding in a helicopter might be dead, I'm sure there will be other fun stuff to upload videos on. So definitely stay subscribed for that. We will also be making all sorts of setting guides and all that kind of important stuff for the new players coming into the game, because DICE are really trying to bring people in. So I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna gatekeep the information. I will try to provide you guys with as much useful content as possible. All that said though, I'm pretty much going to wrap up the video now. I just wanted to talk about where the air vehicles are currently at, where they've been, and where I think they're going, and where they're going is actually the bin, as we've just found out in this video. Anyways, take it easy guys, have a good day, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.